Welcome to the first lecture on Genesis of Geology and Engineering Geology. We are going to study basically the origin and development of engineering geology. Prior to that, we will look into briefly origin and development of geology as a subject. And we are going to start right from the ancient times. I am Imran Saeed, specialist in engineering geology. Let us begin with geological time scale. Well, the geological scale runs from origin of Earth, which is now estimated to be 4.5 billion years to the present time. The oldest rocks on Earth are found in Australia, 4.4 billion years, Canada, 4.3 billion years, and India, 4.24 billion years. And therefore, it is not necessary that the age of the Earth is same as the oldest rocks found on Earth. The Earth's oldest suite of rocks have either been recycled or destroyed by plate tectonics. It is presumed by scientists that Earth has been formed along with solar system and from determination of age of meteorite found on Earth and from the rocks on the moon, which are 4.4 to 4.5 billion years of age. Let us see the geological time scale. We have the main divisions of Quaternary, which is 2.4 million years and above. We have the Tertiary, 65 million years and above. We have the Mesozoic, in between 251 million years and 65. We have the Paleozoic, 542 million years and 251 million years. Then we have the Precambrian rocks occupying most of the age of the Earth, and which are further divided into Proterozoic, which are between 2,500 million years and 542 million years, and then we have the older Archeans also. It is interesting to note that the Stone Age is traced in between 3.5 million years and 2,500 years BC. In other words, the Homo sapiens, which have evolved 200,000 years ago, are not the first users of stones. A hominin fossil, which is 3.5 million years age, is believed to be earliest user of stone tools. Therefore, our ancestors, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthals, have used stone tools actually for their living. So these are our ancestors, which are a link between the gorillas and chimps, and the modern man, have actually used stone tools. So the association of rocks or stones is not restricted to a modern man only. It goes beyond even the modern man. Those are some of the examples of the stone tools. Aristotle in 4th century BC was the first person to have said that changes in the earth are very slow and cannot be observed in one person's life. Very, very important observation. He's a famous Greek philosopher and polymath. A polymath means during the ancient time, philosophers used to have knowledge of many subjects. They were referred as a polymath. We have discussed ancient times, the development of geology, and now we come to Middle Age. For the convenience of understanding, the history has been divided into these divisions. The well-known prehistory period, starting from 3.5 million years ago to, let us say, 3,200 or 3000 BC, which is 5,000 years from now. And then the ancient history, starting from 3000 BC to coming to 5th century. That's a long time. And then the Middle Age, approximately starting in 5th century and going up till 15th century. This is the Middle Age. In the Middle Age, we have a polymath who's an Iranian scholar, Abu Rayyan al-Biruni, who gave the hypothesis that Indian subcontinent was once a sea. He knew many languages such as Persian, Arabic, Sanskrit, Greek, Hebrew, and others. We have another scholar, Ibn Sina, in the West known as Avicenna. He was a Persian polymath known for his book on Quran, in which he referred to Aristotle's work on mineralogy and meteorology, formation of mountains, clouds, water, earthquakes, terrain, all geological terms. Then we have Leonardo da Vinci, who is very well known for his painting. He was a polymath and ardent fan of nature. He had diverse knowledge of many fields such as engineering, geology, medicine, and so on. He equated water flowing through mountains to blood flowing in human body. He recognized changes had occurred between sea and land. He was a recognized expert, so to say, at that time, a very, very wise man. That is the statue of Leonardo da Vinci in Florence, Italy. Other workers in Europe also kept interest alive in geology. William Whiston published a book, A New Theory of Earth, in 1696. Italian naturalist is the first person reported to have used the term geology in 1603. However, at that time, it did not get very popular. The term was first used then by two Swiss geologists. The acceptance really came by the publication of the French encyclopedia by Denis Diderot in 1751, where geology had a place in that encyclopedia, and then it began to be taught in educational institutions. The term was formally introduced by a Swiss geologist and meteorologist in 1770s. We have then the famous James Hutton, who dwelt upon the origin of rocks, processes of volcanism, and also by sedimentation. The Industrial Revolution in Europe started in 1760 and spread to North America. Accordingly, mining activity also gathered momentum. With the advent of a steam engine in 17th century itself, further progress was made, with James Watt having more efficient steam engines in 18th century, and accordingly mechanization of mining gained momentum. All these activities led to increased emphasis on geological studies for mining. And indeed, William Smith has published the first geological map of Great Britain in 1815, combining with cartographer John Carey. He had developed the sketch map as early as 1801. This was the first map of Great Britain. Benjamin Hein, who was a German botanist and a naturalist, was working in Madras Presidency under East India Company. He developed a map covering parts of peninsular India, which shows drainages and rock types. This may be one of the first geological maps also surviving of India. Developments in India also took place very early in 19th century itself. Henry Wesley Voysey published geological map in India for Hyderabad in 1821. Mind you, the first map of Great Britain was published in 1815, so there is not a lot of time gap. Dr. Thomas Oldham was first superintendent of Geological Survey of India, which was formed in 1851. GSI is one of the oldest organizations in the world for geological professional work. Dr. M.S. Krishnan, one of the most respected geologists in India, was the first Indian director after independence. His contribution in Indian stratigraphy is immense. I have always kept his book, Geology of India and Burma, which was first published in 1943 and is immensely popular. E-text version has been published as late as 2017. That's a portrait of Dr. M.S. Krishnan for you. Then we have Dr. D.N. Wadia, who is the first Indian scientist working in Geological Survey of India, having a degree from Indian University. His book Geology of India, which was first published in 1919, is in use even today. Dr. Wadia is well known for his memos and records, and his maps, his geological traverses, his work is noteworthy and makes a very, very interesting reading. By the end of 19th century, geology as a subject had taken shape. Theories for formation of rocks through volcanoes and sedimentary processes had been proposed by various workers. In fact, Hutton in 1785 itself, in addition to his postulates about formation of rocks through various processes, had also stated that some of the rocks in England had been sedimentary originally and they have been altered by heat. We can therefore assume that all concepts of igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic processes had developed by 19th century. However, one thing remained. Geologists were still determining the age of rock formations by the fossil assemblages. The 20th century brought the concept of radiometric dating of rocks. Other important developments also took place to get the final modern shape of geology as it exists today. Scientists, philosophers, polymaths had earlier also suggested about geometric fit of continents and their movement. But a consolidated theory was proposed by a German meteorologist, Alfred Wegener, in 1912. Picture shows continents joined together as Pangea in young carbon age, then drifting apart in Eocene times, and then in old quarter, as it is mentioned, taking the present shape. We all know about Arthur Holmes by his famous book Principles of Physical Geology. He advocated radiometric dating of rocks, supported Wegener's theory, rising of convection currents from the mantle. Harry Heese gave the concept of Sleaford spreading and younger oceanic crust. Plate tectonics took shape and acceptance in 1970s. This concept unified continental rifts, Sleaford spreading, and mid-oceanic ridges and paleomagnetism. It is now possible to monitor movement of plates by GPS studies. NASA image shows increased tectonic activity at plate margins and resultant earthquakes as well. However, we should not forget that after decades of hard and dedicated effort, Mary Tharp and Brisenhazen, American geologists, had produced most comprehensive map showing ridges, valleys, and trenches known as the World Ocean Floor Map. Thus, the basic concept of geology evolved in the 20th century. The next portion we shall move on to engineering geology.